Hey guys, welcome to Shearns News at 11. I'm Julia.
And I'm Jocelyn.
And we have the coverage of today's top story.
The Soviet Union has just announced its boycotting of the 1984 Olympic Games held in Los Angeles.
The Soviet is getting payback from the last Olympic Games in 1980 when the United States boycotted the Games in Moscow. The USSR was offended that the United States didn't show up then.
Yes, that has started a big commotion. The Games became a political aspect, and Soviets feared for their safety, response to the 1980 Games.
For example, the Soviet Union accused the United States of using the Games for political purposes and stirring up the anti-Soviet.
However, the United States were not the only ones to boycott the Olympic Games in Moscow. Did you know that more than 60 other countries, including the United States, boycotted the Moscow Olympics in protest at the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan?
This is a large number of countries that did not attend the Olympic Games. Some events were affected because countries were missing.
An international coalition tried to think of a solution, suggesting that the boycotting nations should send athletes to compete under neutral Olympic banner. But Carter threatened to revoke the passport of the U.S. athletes who attempted to do so. Therefore, the U.S. never made it to Moscow Olympics.
Bummer that the USSR won't be attending the Olympics here in LA this summer, as the USSR is blaming the commercialization of the Games and lack of security measures, which amounted to a violation of the Olympic Charter.
Yes, the Los Angeles Summer Games were highly commercialized. They were the first privately financed games ever and made a profit of $225 million. Thanks to corporate sponsorship and extensive use of unpaid volunteers. 43 companies were licensed to sell official Olympic products.
Very interesting. Now off to Brianna and Rose with further information on the Afghanistan invasion from 1979.
For those of you who learn better visually, here's a diagram of the invasion of Afghanistan and how it affects the boycotts. So, when the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan during their civil war, this caused a lot of tension between Russia and the US. So when it was the US's turn to come into Moscow for the 1980s Games in January, they decided not to. So that was a big no. Exit out. And then when it was Moscow's turn to return to the U.S. for their May 1984 games, they decided not to because they feared for their lives. So, in all, it's a big no between Russia and the U.S. But now they are doing great until later on when they're not.